What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me on D's Analysis. We're going to be checking out MSTR and Bitcoin. So right now we're just in this sideways chopping period. We're stuck in between this area here for now. Like we said, we're just expecting some kind of chop before making a decision up, breaking out, using this as support, and continuing potentially to the downward sloping trend line. That's the bullish scenario. Bearish scenario, of course, like we already said, is closing underneath the structure, retesting, and then finding that next level of support on the way down. Prior, we were talking about these legs before, and right now, in terms of just how it looks and where it's positioned on the like 5.5 and 618, it still looks good. And like I said, in reference to where this last leg landed. So we found support off the 618 prior. We found support off the 618 over here. We're still sitting at the 0.5. I think maybe we start to get a little concerned once we start falling to the 786. Then you're completely deviating from what we've done before. So I think that's something to definitely watch out for. So watch those fib levels for sure to kind of have an idea. Now, something that I think kind of looks similar as well is if we were to mirror this exact move here and place it over on this previous period, you can see that it looks very similar, which is not the best thing, of course. You can see it line up pretty well. Obviously, it's not going to be exact, but you can see that it looks almost the same. Like I said, it's not going to be exact, but it seems like this move has kind of been drawn out a little bit longer, and this one fell off a little bit sooner. As you can see, it would have probably been like 4 or 5 weeks ago, maybe even 6 weeks ago, that the drop was really intensifying, which we haven't seen. We've kind of just been trending sideways more than anything, like bleeding out and then slowly trending sideways and slowly bleeding back down. But they do look very, very similar. So like I said, this is definitely something to take into consideration and be aware that we could potentially see something like what we saw over here in 2021. Not saying that it's going to happen, but you have to understand that it's always a possibility. On Bitcoin, we look pretty solid. We're still in the same spot that we were talking about. We got our close above on the weekly, above this upward sloping trend line. Came back for the retest of this key level of support and the upward sloping trend line. Now on the daily, we were talking about this candle over here. We closed underneath, saying that it opens up the idea of a retest to continue down. But luckily, we ended up getting a close back above it. So now it flips again. So now we're looking for the retest of this upward sloping trend line like we did previously for a move potentially higher. Now, we were talking about this fib level as well, saying how bullish it looks because we're only at the 236. So we're about to push back above the 236 potentially. It's sitting at 122.2. So once we can sit above the 236, it starts to look like we could be seeing some upside. And then of course, once we continue the momentum and break the previous high here, maybe we can go into price discovery mode and eventually hit the midline of this entire channel. And that midline of the entire channel, depending on when we hit it, if we were to hit it this month, that would be sitting at around 140. If we hit it next month, it would be sitting around 143, 145. So it all depends on when we do hit the midline, if we hit the midline, but those are the numbers that I'd be looking for if we were to catch some momentum here on Bitcoin. And hopefully it translates into MSTR. Overall though, MSTR was kind of just sideways day, 0.73, and Bitcoin was kind of sideways as well. So really nothing too much happening overall. MSTR divided by IBIT, kind of sideways, a little negative, down 0.61, very, very minor. But it is continuing this trend that we've had established here. So we'll see where this takes us, but the momentum right now is just incredibly bearish, and it looks like it's trying to pick up steam. If we pierce through this level, then we can really start to see a severe underperformance by MSTR against IBIT. When we take a look at the 2021 cycle and the 17 cycle, you can see that they're very different than what we have going on here. This was like almost like a slow climb. We had an aggressive move in 23 and then kind of just a slow climb this entire time. And over here, you can see that it was just an aggressive climb in 17. These are 3-month candles, by the way, but they absolutely skyrocketed to the upside. And you can see the same thing here. Pretty much in 2 candles, you got an aggressive move of, you're sitting at 10,000, and by the end of it, you ran up 500%, and you got up to 62,000 in 2021. And then here also we'll do the 2 candles as well, from the bottom all the way to the top, 1,000%. So 1,000%, 500%, and then it kind of leaves you wondering, where do we take this measurement from? Do we take it from this one here? And it was 1,000 and 500, so would it be 250 for this cycle here? But if we were to do that, I mean, even these 2 candles, we would be severely underperforming, as if we were to take it for the 2 candles, it's about 70%. So 250% would take us way up here to a 260K, 250,000. So I don't know if that's going to happen within the next, by the end of this candle has 2 months and 23 days, but we would definitely have to get Bitcoin dominance falling down to the 45 mark, and ETH Bitcoin, we'd have to see that start to outperform if we want to see an aggressive move like that all the way to those elevated levels. I don't know if we're going to make it to that 250 mark. I'm expecting some kind of major rejection at this midline here, around the 145, maybe 150 level, plus or minus a wick, because momentum can get people, excited. FOMO kicks in, and then we end up going a little bit past the midline, and then we end up falling back down. Right now, it's just been a slow climb. It hasn't been anything too aggressive. Even from the April lows, we haven't seen anything too significant. We've pushed up 70%. Not that that's not a lot, because that is a lot of percentage points. In terms of just regular investing, that's a ton. But in terms of crypto and Bitcoin and what it's done in the past, it's not that much, is what I'm trying to say. But that is also part of Bitcoin, because as time passes, there's more money involved. So as the market cap continues to increase, it's going to take more money to move the market cap. Diminished returns, that's part of the game. But at the same time, it's also a good thing, because you're getting diminished returns, but that also means that the drawdowns will be less severe. So it'll slowly stabilize itself, and then it'll be an asset that people are really going to want to hold, because once they see the stability, they'll start to trust it more. People just don't want to see their investment drop 40, 50, 60% at a time. So that's what I think is holding some people back from buying Bitcoin, which I think it will happen with time. As you can see, we can clearly see that the returns are diminished. And that's why I don't really think we will make that crazy move to the top of the channel. Like I said, it's still on the table, but I don't think we're going to see it. We saw it in 17. It was a nice one there. 21. I just don't see the momentum. Like, none of the candles leading into this have been aggressive. So maybe it starts now, but it just doesn't have that same feel or momentum that it's had in 17 and 21. So we'll see if it pushes up there, but it's still on the table. I don't think it's very likely, though, because it's a lot of capital that has to flow into Bitcoin to get to that $350,000 mark that people are anticipating. Make sure you drop a like and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think it's going to 350K? Do you think it's more realistic to, find a top at 150, 170, 200? Let me know what you think. I'll see you guys in the next one.